Felt trapped by a diet, the endless rules, the complicated plans, and that awful cycle of restricting food, feeling guilty, and then starting all over again? If that sounds even a little familiar, then you're in the right place. We're going to break down a really simple, sustainable way to think about nutrition that's all about feeling good, not feeling deprived.
I mean, this quote just says it all, doesn't it? The goal isn't some temporary fix. It's about getting parole from that food prison. It's about building a lifestyle where food is your friend, your ally, something that gives you energy and freedom, not a life sentence of counting every last calorie.
And if that whole food prison idea really hits home for you, trust me, you are so not alone. But the good news is, there is a way out, and it is so much simpler than you probably think. So let's go ahead and find the keys to unlock that door.
All right, before we even touch on what to eat, we have to start right here. This is the foundation. And look, these aren't meant to be rigid rules. Think of them as 3 core ideas that are going to fundamentally change your relationship with food for the better.
So here's the absolute biggest mindset shift. Forget the word diet, seriously. Instead, I want you to think of your body like a high-performance engine, maybe a Ferrari. You wouldn't put cheap gas in a Ferrari, right? You're not taking fuel away, you're just upgrading to premium fuel to help it run its best. It's all about addition, not painful subtraction. So our first principle is all about keeping it real. The goal is just to eat foods that look as close as possible to how they actually grow in nature. I mean, look at this. It's the perfect example. An apple has all its fiber and good stuff. Apple juice? Most of the time, it's just sugar water with the good stuff stripped out. Same deal with a whole potato versus a processed potato chip.
Okay, now this might be the most important part. This is your official permission slip to be human. The 80-20 rule is your escape hatch from that all-or-nothing trap we all fall into. 80% of the time, yeah, you focus on that premium fuel. But that other 20%, that's for the pizza, the ice cream, the things you truly love. And you get to enjoy them with zero guilt. This is what breaks that nasty binge and restrict cycle.
And that's exactly why it works. Because let's be honest, perfection is impossible. And when you aim for it, you just burn out. But consistency, that's what actually gets results over time. The 80-20 rule lets you be consistent week in and week out, which is way more powerful than being perfect for a few days and then giving up. And our third principle is a really cool but super simple brain hack. Get this. The part of your brain that signals thirst is the same part that signals hunger, and it gets them mixed up all the time. So, next time you feel that craving for a snack, try this experiment. Drink a big glass of water, just wait about 15 minutes, and then see if you're actually still hungry. You might be really surprised by the answer.
Okay, so we've got the mindset sorted. Let's get practical. How does all this theory actually look on your dinner plate? This is the blueprint for building a satisfying, energizing meal every single time.
And you know what the best part is? You can put away the measuring cups, you can forget about the food scale. The most powerful tool you have is right in front of you. It's your own eyes. It's just a simple visual check you can do for any meal. Doesn't matter if you're at home or out at a restaurant. And here it is. This is the goal. Super simple. You fill a full half of your plate with colorful, non-starchy vegetables. Think stuff like broccoli, salads, peppers. Then you fill 1/4 with a good source of protein and the final quarter with a quality carb. That's it. This simple ratio makes sure you're getting fiber, nutrients, and energy that's actually going to last. Now, knowing the blueprint is one thing, but you need the right tools to build the house, right? So these next few habits, these are your toolkit. These are the things that will help you put that plan into action day in and day out without even thinking about it. First up, let's talk about drinks. A single fancy coffee drink or a can of soda can easily pack in over 300 calories. But here's the catch. Because it's liquid, your brain doesn't really register it as food. It doesn't make you feel full. This is probably one of the easiest places to cut out calories without feeling like you're missing out on anything. So what do you do when you get hungry between meals? We all do. The trick is to build a snack that works for you, not against you. And the formula couldn't be simpler. Always start with a protein. That's what makes you feel satisfied, and then pair it with a source of fiber, which slows everything down and keeps you full for longer.
And here's what that looks like in the real world. Simple stuff. An apple gives you the fiber, almond butter gives you the protein. Or Greek yogurt is loaded with protein, and the berries add that fiber and a bunch of nutrients. Both of these will actually satisfy your hunger, unlike, say, a bag of chips that just leaves you wanting more. I love this rule of thumb for when you're at the grocery store. You really don't need a nutrition degree to read a label. A good guideline is, if you can't pronounce the first 5 ingredients or the list is a mile long, that's probably a good sign that the food is super processed. And one of the biggest things to look for on those labels is added sugars. Now, this isn't the natural sugar you'd find in a piece of fruit, which comes with fiber. Nope. These are the sugars and syrups that are pumped into foods when they're being made, and they are masters of disguise.
And here are just a few of the usual suspects. A really easy trick is to just look for words that end in -ose. You see it here: fructose, dextrose, sucrose. They're all just fancy scientific names for sugar. Once you know these aliases, you'll start spotting them everywhere.
All right, we've got the mindset, we've got the blueprint for our plate, and we have our toolkit of smart habits. So, the million-dollar question is, how do you actually start all this without feeling totally overwhelmed? This is your game plan.
This right here, this is the #1 reason people fail. They try to change everything at once. They go from 0 to 100 on a Monday, and by Wednesday, they've completely flamed out. The real secret to success is to start ridiculously small. This is a perfect illustration of something called habit stacking. So in week 1, you don't even worry about your food. Your only goal is to drink more water. That's it. Once that feels easy, then in week 2, you keep drinking water and you add a handful of greens to your dinner. Then week 3, you tackle breakfast. See how that works? Small changes that build on each other create a massive transformation over time.
But there is one final piece to this whole puzzle. It's the one thing that can either make all your efforts work or completely sabotage them. It really is the true secret ingredient to making all of this stick.
And that ingredient is sleep. I know, it sounds too simple, but it's pure science. When you don't get enough sleep, your body cranks up the production of a hormone called ghrelin. Ghrelin is the hunger hormone. It makes you feel starving, and it absolutely tanks your willpower. Trying to eat healthy when you're sleep-deprived is like trying to swim up a raging waterfall. It's almost impossible.
So, let's bring it all home. We have covered a lot, but please, remember the most important rule. Start small. Do not try to do all of this at once. So looking at everything we've talked about, I want you to ask yourself, what is the one single tiny change you can commit to this week? Because that right there is where your journey begins.